Hey Eryl, how are you today?
Hi, I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, good, thanks. What do you want to play with?
Now, I've got a lot of things I'd like to play with, a lot of things that I'd like to create in my life. And I'm at a point where I start and then I stop, and I start something else and I stop again. And well, there are several things like not willing to do things on my own. Um, Maybe not willing to be the leader. Um,
Maybe.
Maybe.
I love that. Just slip that little maybe in there.
And so, yes, I'm aware of a lot of things, and then I can't. Well, I can't. Mm. Yeah, nothing gets done really.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, first question is, what do you think will happen if you finish something?
I got the energy sinking, but I don't know what that
Yeah.
is.
Okay, so then okay, if you finish, so think of one project, just think of one project
Mm-hmm.
that you would like to finish that's not getting finished. Now, imagine it's finished. What's happening that you're not happy about or not excited about?
Too many things to deal with.
Uh-huh. Cool. So that's a common one. In fact, I used to have that because I used to think, oh, I'll get burnout again, and it's not actually true. So would there actually be too many things to deal with, or would it open doors that you're not willing to lead yourself through yet?
The second is lighter.
Funny about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think we're really good at putting that thing in place of, oh, it'll just be too much, right? Overwhelmed, basically overwhelmed.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. And so, so what is it that you would have to know about you to make overwhelm go away and to make you willing to actually walk through those doors with joy? Yeah, that there.
Mm-hmm. What is that? Um, yeah, I get a lot of excitement, a lot of new projects, a lot of
Mm. So
creations.
would you have to know how capable you are or acknowledge how capable you are?
Probably. Yeah, probably that,
Yeah,
yes. Mm.
yeah. And what happens when you're really, really capable?
People judge me?
Do they?
Do they? Well, some people do, but not the people I care for, in fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Cool. So would you make their judgment relevant, or would you go, thanks very much for your little green eyes and you can have them back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. And so would some people give you more projects?
Yes, and I'd
Cool.
be I'd be able to do more of mine as well.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I'm
So
very, at the moment, I tend to wait for other people to give me stuff to do, which is, mm,
yeah, that's the leadership bit, right?
yeah.
Or the lack of leadership bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, hmm. So who do you want to be? And I'm not going to say when you grow up, because I'm not going to say you have to grow up, right? But who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Like, if you were really happy with you, who would you be amongst all of this creation?
Yeah, I get exactly that, exactly. A leader, someone who'd be there to guide
Someone
other
who'd
people.
be there. Yeah,
Yeah,
someone who'd be there. Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
And to guide people. Yeah. So are you willing to be that leader and to work with other people and to be the one that people turn to?
Yes, and there's a little something there.
Yeah. So what's the little something
What would people expect of me?
that you don't want to give?
Uh, yeah. Because with the willingness to be a leader comes the willingness to also say no.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Are you willing to say no?
Uh, it's still
Oopsie.
difficult. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So can you be a leader if you're a people pleaser?
No,
No.
no.
So what's the value in being a people pleaser?
It's more of a comfort zone.
Ah. So is it comfort for you or comfort for other people, you not saying no?
Yeah, for other people. It's definitely not comfortable for me.
No. So are you trying to create it so that other people can be comfortable around you?
Yes.
So okay. So is that a kindness to them?
No. No, not really. No.
No, because basically it stops them from their growth, their evolution, their possibilities, their choices. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the difference between ease and easy. It's easier
Yes.
to be that way, but it's not real ease. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. True. It's totally true. So what would it be like to say no when you know you need to say no?
Empowering.
Cool. So
Mm.
is there anything that would stop you doing that?
My mind.
Oh, your cute little mind.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
where would it like to go? It could go to Hawaii or
Hmm.
Iceland or Tasmania, maybe. Where would it like to go?
Yeah,
Send it on a holiday.
on a holiday, yes, that would be a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, a very long holiday,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Because our minds are really good as a tool and not so useful as the one in charge, right?
Mm.
And so the thing is, so how many times when you are saying yes, do you know, okay, let me write. Oh, sorry, I'll just get thrown. I can't talk. Oh gosh. How many times would you say yes when you know you should be saying no? What percentage of the time?
The number that comes up is 70%, which is a lot.
Yay! Well, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it, that's a lot of energy you could free up
Yeah.
to actually
Mm.
create with, right? Because
Mm.
every time you say yes when you mean no, you use your energy up on something that isn't generative for you and isn't actually generative for the world.
Mm.
Because when
Yes.
you, yeah, go on.
Yeah, and that energy stays stuck.
Yeah, it
Mm.
does. Yeah. And it stays stuck for you and the person you're saying yes to, because then they don't go and find the person who it genuinely is a yes for, who would actually
Mm.
be able to do it really well. I'm not saying you're not going to do it really well, but what I am saying is there are other things that you would do better at.
Yes,
Does that make sense?
completely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what if for the next week you just started getting clear on what your real yeses are and what your real nos are? And actually, when you say no to someone, and I know I've given you a little bit of info on this in Glow Wild, actually, but I'm going to say it
Mm.
because we're on the video today. Um, so when you say no to someone, it's about saying no and leaving a door open for them to find the solution that will work for them without that being you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's literally like, no, that's not possible for me. you know, what is it exactly you're needing? Can I help you find someone, or can I suggest someone for you, or whatever it might be? You know, you'll know the thing to ask in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because so often we say yes because we're capable, right?
Yes.
And so this is the good thing about being capable and the bad thing about being capable. We say yes, and we get asked a lot because we're capable, right? And then there's this sort of, you know, circular thing that goes on. When we say yes, then we wish we hadn't, because we actually want to do this other thing over there. And it ends up getting really mushed up when it could be really clear, and you could be being the leader that you wish you could be, that you're trying to pretend you don't want to be because you don't know how to get there, right?
Yes, yes, I get that, how people will ask me to do something, and then there's this energy of, oh well, you're good at that. Yes, so they ask me more,
Yeah.
or other people ask
Yes.
me about that, and then I'm
Yeah.
stuck in that
Yes.
role, which is not something I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. So that
Mm,
is the power of saying no. You won't get stuck in that role. Because, you know,
yeah.
just because you're good at, okay, and this is for everyone who's listening to this later too, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you should do it.
Mm.
Okay. There's a lot of things I'm good at that I realize I should not be doing. Right. And so, because if I do them, it's like, well, in economics, there's a thing called opportunity cost, where basically it says if you say yes to this, you know, there's a cost in saying yes, and there's a cost in saying no, basically. And what I've been looking at is, where do I wish to put my energy so I can have the greatest impact, so that the greatest possibilities for the world can show up. And if I
Mm.
say yes to everything I'm good at, I will say yes to a lot of boring shit, you know? And so what I want to say to you is, like, look at really what sorts of things you want to say yes to. So at least they're in the maybe yes pile. And then have a good look at, well, what things are you definitely saying no to? And that's, you know, you're going to have a standard story for those. It's just like, you know, I'd love to be able to help you, but I'm not doing that anymore.
Mm. Yeah.
You know? Because once you do that, what's going to happen is you free up all this time and energy. And so then you're going to come face to face with the energy of not procrastinating, or you'll procrastinate all the more because you're like, oh gosh, now I've got to do that stuff I've been having all these excuses for.
Yes.
Right? So I just want to cover off that part of it too, because I know how this works. And so, I mean, with procrastination, I don't even really like to call it that, okay? Because it's not real. Ultimately, procrastination is a story we tell ourselves, and it just depends on the day and the person as to what story is being told. And one of the things I know is that sometimes it's because we're aware of timing, okay? And this for me has often been the case. I haven't done something because I'm aware of a different timing or something else that needs to be in place or whatever. And it might not be a cognitive awareness, but there is an awareness there. So you don't
Mm.
beat yourself up about that. You just go, you know what? That's not for right now. But then there is what I would call the procrastination that comes with a sort of a side serving of avoidance or resistance. Okay. And that's where you don't want to be basically the leader you can be. And it can be a lot of things, but often it's you don't want to be that visible, or you don't want to be the leader. In your case, it's all about the leadership.
Yeah.
So take yourself 3 weeks into the future
Mm-hmm.
and imagine that you've said no to all of the things that need saying no to. How's that feeling?
Joyful.
Cool. I like that. And then imagine that you're sitting there, you've got all your projects, all your ideas, all the things you want to create.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that's freaking you out about that? Anything that's stopping you from starting?
Not really, no.
No, goody good. Okay. You're right to go then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go on.
Yeah, the thing that comes up is I've been so used to this pattern of, oh, I'm not quite sure, or but what if, etc., that just going and following the joy actually of creating what I really want to do is so unfamiliar. oh, can I really do that?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because, well, we've been taught not to have joy, literally, like full stop, you know, and especially not joy with creation because, you know, you're supposed to work hard.
Yes.
And yeah, and so what I think is important here is what if you would get really used to having joy? So every day for the next 3 weeks, you've got 2 jobs. The first one is to say no to anything that's not good for you, right?
Yeah.
The second one is to have joy in every other choice that you make. And you can have joy with this saying no as well, okay? Let's not take that out of the equation. Like I'd say enjoy that one, absolutely. So, because the thing is, when you start to retrain yourself to have pleasure and to have joy, it it takes a little bit because you're so used to going, oh no, I have to suffer, you know. And this came very much from the religions and from, you know, that sort of the I'd say the Protestant work ethic and a lot of those sorts of things where we've just been taught, no, you have to work, you have to work, you have to work, that's what's valuable. And yet creation has a totally different energy to working hard. And so,
Yes.
of course, when you go into that joy where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting to do the things I've really wanted to do for so long, there's a part of you that goes, but you're not supposed to do that. Something bad will happen. And what I think is really important here is that every time that little voice comes up, you go, okay, which holiday do you want to go on? I'm just sending you on a holiday for a bit because I'm in charge here and it's going to be okay, right? You got to let that voice know that it's going to be okay.
Yes.
And that they don't need to worry. So send them to Hawaii or whatever, like literally send them somewhere fun, you know, so they can actually learn what joy is too. And I think that if you give yourself 3 weeks, so it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to do this overnight and be perfect. It's, I'm going to practice this for 3 weeks and see how it goes, right?
Yes.
And when I say see how it goes, it's a little bit of a review each day. Okay, is there anything I wished I'd done differently? Okay, cool, I'll remember that for next time. And then, is there anything where I could have had more joy? Okay, cool, let me infuse a bit more joy into that the next time I do it. And then, of course, it's a celebration of everywhere that you did do well, where you did actually change the pattern.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more celebration in everyday life. Yes, I
Yes,
like
I
that.
think so. Yeah, totally. Like, you know, who's going to celebrate you if you don't?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so the thing is, as you do this, you'll start getting more connected with your projects. And so one of the things is, when we start saying no, it's easy for there just to be a space. And a space can be a good thing, okay? So I'm not saying don't leave any space, but do sort of say no, look at how much time or what time that was going to take or what space that was going to take. And then look at which project would like attention and actually start. Okay. And the other thing for you, because I know that finishing isn't your strong point, and one of the little rules I gave myself, because it was not my strong point either, let me just tell you. And one of the rules I gave myself many, many years ago was every month I would not start anything new until I had finished one thing. Now, some
Mm.
months that means I don't get to start anything new, right? Because it takes all month. Like, you know, in August, I've been working on my new website and I'm like, are you finished yet? Because it's really like, oh my gosh, it's just taking so long, you know? And so, but what I know is that if I start lots of other projects, then I have lots of unfinished projects and then I just get cranky basically. And
Yeah.
so my thing is finishing one, then I've got something to celebrate. Then the world has something to engage with me with and it's more fun, you know, and then things can actually flow from there.
Mm.
So do you think that's a doable way of working it for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. And like some months I choose something small. I deliberately choose something small so I can get onto the fun stuff, right? Other months, like to now, I'm like, okay, this is the most important thing and this is where I'm going no matter what. So you've got a
Mm.
lot of choice within what it is you finish, you know. And sometimes I let the projects choose. I'm like, okay, all of you line up. Who wants to be first? And there'll be one that's like me. And so then I'm like, goodo, off you go. You can be first. And so, you know, and I think the other important thing about finishing, you know, for a few years there, I ran a thing called a finishathon, where I used to bring everyone together and we would finish things together because it is such a big thing for people. And one of the things I realized for a lot of people is they don't finish because there's no finish line. There's nothing that says this is when this is finished. And I think when we're good creators, this is very true for a lot of us. And so one thing I've done a lot is go, okay, at this point, this is what I will call finished. Before before I'm really a long way into it, so that it can't keep going forever. So that might be another thing to look at in terms of what finishing actually is for you.
Yes, that helps. Yes.
Project. Yeah, because it's easy to keep stringing it out, thinking, well, if I just do this one more thing, it'll be better. And if I just do that thing, then, that'll work. And what that is procrastination.
Yes.
That is literally like stopping yourself from putting it into the world and being successful. It's actually fear of success or fear of failure, but more often than not, fear of success.
Yes, I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so how does all that sit? And do you have any more questions?
No, it's opened a lot of space already. So I think I'll play with that for a little while. Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, go play. Let me know how you go, and we'll chat soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.